I'm Sabrina Zainal, and this is Nightline. The top stories. 23 Malaysians from Global Sumud Flotilla mission arrive home to a hero's welcome. And PM issues stern warning to Tiong and Motak over alcohol issue. Good morning. We begin with this story. All 23 Malaysians who were part of the Global Sumud Flotilla humanitarian aid mission arrived home to a hero's welcome on Tuesday night. Their arrival was greeted with loud cheers and chants of Free Palestine from hundreds of supporters, including family members who had gathered at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport Terminal 1 arrival hall since the afternoon. The plane carrying the volunteers landed at the airport at around 10 p.m., having departed Istanbul Airport in Turkey at 4:20 a.m. Malaysian time. Upon touchdown, the group was welcomed by Foreign Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Hassan before appearing before the jubilant crowd at around 11:20 p.m. The volunteers' return marks the end of a tense week after they were detained by Israeli forces on October 2nd off the coast of Gaza before being released and flown to Istanbul. Meanwhile, speaking at a press conference, Muhammad expressed gratitude to the Prime Minister and all agencies involved in ensuring the safe return of the Malaysian volunteers. He also stressed that Malaysia remains steadfast in supporting humanitarian efforts for the people of Gaza.
Kita mengucapkan berbanyak-banyak terima kasih kepada Yang Amat Berhormat Perdana Menteri Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim, tuan-tuan puan sekalian. Di atas usaha beliau dengan tahap diplomasi tertinggi beliau bersama-sama dengan kepimpinan negara-negara sahabat seperti Turki, Mesir dan Jordan. Kerajaan negeri Turki telah pun bersama-sama dapat membawa keluar rakyat Malaysia yang ditahan secara haram oleh Israel di penjara Israel.
Earlier, while appearing live on Buletin Utama TV3, Muhammad said the presence of U.S. President Donald Trump at the 47th ASEAN Summit will be an opportunity for Malaysia and the region to push for an immediate resolution to the Gaza conflict. Malaysia, he said, will convey ASEAN's collective stance during the summit to reinforce a unified call for a peaceful resolution through the two-state solution approach.
Besok dah ada negara yang merdeka. Saya kata tadi, bangsa-bangsa bersatu boleh menghantar pasukan pengaman. Jadi ini yang nak kita buat. Kita tak boleh nak dapat capai semua sekali. Yang penting kita dapat capai apa yang kita nak. Kita nak supaya berhentikan pembunuhan. Kita nak supaya bantuan kemanusiaan dapat masuk. Jadi tak payahlah nanti flotilla demi flotilla masuk kan. Kita tak perlu lagi dah. Bila buka Rafah, bila buka dekat Jordan, Ken Hussein Bridge, bantuan daripada darat boleh masuk. Jadi ini memudahkan kita untuk membantu rakyat Palestin yang menderita sekian lama.
He added that Malaysia will make it clear to Trump during his visit that Malaysian GSF volunteers were denied proper treatment and subjected to violence during their detention by Israeli forces. The government will also support efforts by the Center for Human Rights Research and Advocacy, or CENTRA, to submit a report to the United Nations Human Rights Council on the abuse. Now, the Prime Minister has called on Malaysians to show solidarity with Palestinians at a gathering in Bukit Jalil on Wednesday evening. The Solidarity with Gaza rally is scheduled to take place at 8 p.m. at Axiata Arena. The rally aims to express solidarity with the struggle of the Palestinians alongside the Malaysian volunteers who have returned home after being detained by the Israeli regime during the GSF humanitarian mission. In a Facebook post, Anwar expressed his confidence and belief that the determination to continue championing justice and universal peace is deeply rooted in the heart of every Malaysian. In another development, all 9 vessels from the Freedom Flotilla Coalition and 1,000 Mudlines to Gaza humanitarian aid mission are expected to enter the red zone waters off Gaza at 5 p.m. Malaysian time on Wednesday. Currently, the flotilla is about 180 nautical miles from Gaza's coastline. Humanitarian Care Malaysia, MyCare CEO Kamarul Zaman Shahrul Anwar, said the Conscience, the largest vessel in the fleet, continued its voyage to Gaza at 9:30 a.m. Malaysian time, while 8 other ships departed earlier at around 1 a.m.
Ketua Delegasi Malaysia Prof. Alauddin melaporkan ke semua delegasi kapal telah sebulat suara untuk bertemu dalam satu garis masa dijangka di 150 batu nautika. Antara 50 nautical miles hampir ke zon merah, diorang akan berkumpul, berhenti situ dan bergerak bersama.
Kamarul Zaman said the next 48 hours will be critical, as past experience shows that Israeli attacks often occur at night. He noted that Wednesday night through to Thursday is expected to be a particularly tense and dangerous time for the volunteers on board the flotilla. In other news, Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim has issued a stern warning to Tourism, Arts and Culture Minister Datuk Sri Tiong King Sing and the ministry, urging them to ensure that the mistake of serving alcohol at an official government event is not repeated. The Prime Minister stressed that the ministry's explanation that alcoholic beverages were only served after the official ceremony had ended was unacceptable, as the government's policy clearly prohibits the serving of alcohol at any official function under any circumstances.
Penjelasan Motek ialah bahawa ini setelah selesai acara rasmi, tapi tempat yang sama, majlis yang sama. Kami telah memberikan peringatan keras kepada menteri dan kementerian supaya tidak mengulangi kesilapan ini. Walaupun penjelasan itu adalah bahawa program berakhir, tetapi tidak wajar sama sekali.
Speaking at an event in Petaling Jaya on Tuesday, he said the cabinet and all government agencies have been reminded not to be negligent in handling such matters and must ensure that similar mistakes do not recur in the future. Earlier, photos went viral on social media showing alcoholic beverages being served at the Global Travel Meet 2025 Gala dinner organized under Tourism Malaysia. Following the Prime Minister's warning, the Tourism, Arts and Culture Ministry said it accepts the criticism with a sense of responsibility and humility and expressed regret over the confusion or misunderstanding that may have caused discomfort among the public. In a statement, MOTAC said it has taken heed of the matter and will ensure that the incident is not repeated. The ministry also pledged to tighten monitoring and ensure full compliance with official event guidelines and ethical standards. MOTAC added that all programs under its purview will strictly adhere to the established guidelines and codes of conduct. Earlier in the morning, Anwar had an audience with the Conference of Rulers to brief them on several key developments, including the preparations for the 47th ASEAN Summit and U.S. President Donald Trump's visit to Malaysia at the end of this month. The pre-council meeting of the 270th Conference of Rulers was held at Istana Negara, presided over by the Raja of Perlis, Tuanku Syed Sirajuddin Jamalulail. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Sultan Ibrahim also attended the meeting. Anwar, when met on the sidelines of the ASEAN Conference on Future-Ready Public Service in Petaling Jaya, said that during the session he also briefed the rulers on several policy matters, including the government's preparations for a 2026 budget to be tabled in the Dewan Rakyat this Friday.
Bagi perkembangan semasa, termasuk lawatan pemimpin dunia kena ASEAN akhir Oktober, termasuk juga lawatan Presiden Amerika Syarikat Donald Trump, pendirian Malaysia tentang cadangan perdamaian Gaza yang dipelopori oleh President Trump.
Last week, Trump unveiled a 20-point peace plan aimed at ending the war in Gaza, which includes an immediate ceasefire, the exchange of all Hamas-held hostages for Palestinian prisoners in Israel, and the gradual withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza. Now, at the same event, Anwar emphasized that the country's civil service must have the courage to break free from outdated rules and be ready to undertake major reforms. In his address when officiating the conference, the Prime Minister said such transformation is necessary to meet the increasingly complex and challenging demands of the times.
Because leadership today demands moral clarity and the courage to reform. A future-ready civil service needs leaders who think beyond electoral cycles, act transparently, and welcome scrutiny.
Anwar also stressed that governance is currently being reshaped through technological transformation. The civil service must therefore become more agile and innovative, willing to explore new approaches that are relevant and responsive to current needs. Rising prices and economic uncertainty continue to test the resilience of Malaysian households. As fiscal reforms take shape, the focus now shifts to how effectively government policies translate into real relief for the people. Nightline's Muhammad Nadir Asfar has the report.
With Budget 2026 just days away, the focus is now on how the government plans to strengthen the cost of living support while maintaining fiscal sustainability. The real challenge, however, lies in providing meaningful relief without straining public finances.
During the tabling of Budget 2025, the government announced expanded tax reliefs and incentives for individuals, including higher relief limits for medical insurance premiums and medical expenses paid through insurance or takaful. It also introduced home loan interest relief for first-time home buyers, continued electricity subsidies and adjustments to the sales and service tax (SST). Additionally, the government has continued the free school meals program for primary school students from low-income households alongside the early schooling aid for all primary and secondary school students. The government has also introduced various other initiatives, including cash assistance such as the Sumbangan Tunai Rahmah STR and Sumbangan Asas Rahmah SARA, as well as a shift from blanket fuel subsidies to a more targeted system through the Budi Madani RON 95 program, all aimed at helping to reduce the cost of living. However, Federation of Malaysian Consumers Associations, FOMCA President Datuk Marimutu Nadasen emphasised that the upcoming budget should include additional direct assistance to help ease the impact of rising prices on households.
And give them monthly 500 ringgit, especially for them to purchase food item or medicine. That's very important. That will be better initiative, and you can see more impact for the lower middle class.
He believes the government must step up its efforts to ensure that all forms of assistance are effectively delivered to those who need them the most. Meanwhile, economist Muhammad Afzanizam Abdul Rashid noted that targeted subsidies and incentives have enabled the government to reallocate more funds to other sectors, while also providing lower income groups with greater disposable income for essential spending.
STR, SARA, what it means is that the government is trying to alleviate the financial burdens among the M40 and B40, because these are all cash transfers programs, so it's kind of boosting up a certain degree of their incomes through transfers. So with that additional income, the societies could actually use that money to pay all the necessary items.
In the same vein, financial analyst Paulo Casadio said the government should prioritize lower income groups while gradually reforming subsidies, noting that such an approach is essential to balance social protection with fiscal responsibility.
So the priority is the lower income group, so the basic needs come first. Second, this can be compatible with the fiscal rationalization, but it takes time. It takes time, and as I said before, implies some changes in behavior and culture.
Ultimately, the key challenge is to ensure that every ringgit spent genuinely benefits the most deserving groups, while safeguarding the long-term sustainability of the nation's economy. Muhammad Nadir Asfar, TV3.
The 2026 budget is set to reshape the nation's future, from unlocking new revenue streams and driving investments, to easing the rising cost of living and strengthening social protection. Every move matters. Stay ahead with our exclusive pre-budget reports, October 6th to 9th, only on Nightline.
Tahun baru, aspirasi baru. Belanjawan 2026 bukan sekadar angka. Ia hala tuju kemakmuran yang inklusif untuk rakyat dan negara.
Berdepan cabaran dan ketidaktentuan global, tumpuan terarah kepada memperkukuh asas ekonomi dan mengangkat darjat hidup rakyat.
Bersama kami, memacu ekonomi madani, memperkasa rakyat.
Jumaat 10 Oktober jam 3 petang di TV3.
Over 25 million ringgit worth of narcotics and chemicals seized. This and more after this breather.
Makan nggak?
Satu foto.
Kamu tuh dari tadi belum makan loh.
Iya, ini materinya lagi bagus. Satu foto, satu foto. Bentar, kamu boleh berdiri di ujung situ.
Let's have it.
You don't understand. This is all I have. I'm nothing without this suit.
If you're nothing without this suit, then you shouldn't have it. Hey, Pedro.
तुम मेरी जिंदगी के बारे में जानते क्या? पति ने मारा है बॉयफ्रेंड ने?
पति ने
फ्रेंड, मॉम, मुझे आपसे प्राइवेटली कुछ बातें करनी है.
Ahli keluarga ni mempercayai ajaran sesat, kononnya telah menerima wahyu.
Ajaran Abuya tu suci.
Pagi Hari Raya Aidilfitri, semua ahli keluarga telah berkumpul di rumah flat ini dan upacara ini melibatkan memukul mangsa.
Semua orang percaya kepada tertulis pertama bahawa beliau adalah seorang mempunyai kuasa-kuasa ajaib. Walau mati pun dia boleh hidupkan balik.
Curang dalam perkahwinan tidak berkesudahan. Di manakah silapnya?
Bila meningkat usia, rabun dekat menjadi isu, kanak-kanak pula faktor screen time.
Keselamatan anak-anak dalam kenderaan sering diabaikan. Jangan kita menangis kemudian hari.
Musim banjir semakin hampir, pastikan longkang dan parit kediaman anda bersih.
Dan bajet 2026, apakah jangkaannya?
MHI Isnin hingga Jumaat jam 10 pagi.
Stream ditonton dan
TV3.
Thanks for staying with us. The Finance Ministry, or MOF, has expanded the targeted RON95 fuel subsidy program, also known as Budi 95. The initiative now benefits more than 31,000 fishermen, private boat owners, and new driving license holders. According to the MOF, the three new groups are now part of over 16 million Malaysians who are eligible to enjoy subsidized RON95 petrol priced at RM1.99 per litre. The ministry is also finalizing additional data involving unlicensed boat users in other states, particularly in Sabah and Sarawak. The Land Public Transport Agency, or APAT, is also in discussions with e-hailing operators to implement an increased monthly fuel eligibility ceiling of more than 300 litres per month for full-time e-hailing drivers. Police have busted 2 drug trafficking syndicates in Selangor, seizing narcotics and chemicals worth over 25 million ringgit. State Police Chief Datuk Shazeli Kahar said 6 men and 1 woman aged between 30 and 56 were arrested in separate raids in Serdang and Subang Jaya. In the Serdang raid, police stopped a 39-year-old mechanic and found 63.7 kilograms of shabu and 20.1 kilograms of ecstasy pills, worth more than 5 million ringgit, hidden in a modified luxury SUV boot, accessible only by an access card. The suspect, believed to have been actively distributing drugs in Selangor and Johor since the middle of last year, had a prior criminal record with 2 drug-related offences. In a separate case, 6 suspects, including a woman, were arrested after police found nearly 19 million ringgit worth of drugs and chemicals during a series of raids in Subang Jaya. Authorities believe the syndicate has been active since the middle of this year and had intended to set up a drug processing laboratory. 5 of the suspects had prior records for drug offences and all tested positive for drugs. Those arrested during both operations have been remanded to assist investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. 13 people from 2 families were left with nothing after their homes were destroyed when a fire broke out in Kampung Lima Emas, Kuala Nerus, Terengganu on Tuesday morning. The blaze, which occurred at around 6 a.m., engulfed the homes of 2 siblings and is believed to have started in the kitchen of one of the adjacent houses. All the occupants managed to escape safely, but lost all their belongings, including electrical appliances, furniture, jewelry, cash, and 2 vehicles. The losses incurred are estimated to be worth around 100,000 ringgit for each family. Firefighters from the Kuala Nerus Fire and Rescue Station managed to prevent the flames from spreading to 4 nearby homes. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. Israel and Hamas in direct talks ends on positive note. The details when Nightline returns.
The best content doesn't just entertain, it sells. At Content Terhangat, we build campaigns that move customers from watching to buying. From screen to store, we know how to make every second of attention count. Custom advertising campaigns built for your business. Professional ads that put you in the spotlight. Exclusive rates you won't find anywhere else. It's not just advertising, it's real business growth. Register now at AdvantageRSVP.com.
방금 정규직 결과 발표 났어. 가정씨.
어제 네 행동 도가 지나친 건 너도 알고 있지?
화난 건 아는데.
하지만 앞으로는 마주치는 일 없었으면 좋겠어. 혹시 저 위로해 주러 온 거예요?
가정씨도 저 힘들 때 위로해 줬잖아요. 못 믿겠지만 나 대형이야.
뭐? 몸이 젊어져?
믿어줘 다정아.
18 Again setiap Rabu hingga Jumaat 11 malam di slot Cam Sarang TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Ahli keluarga ni mempercayai ajaran sesat, kononnya telah menerima wahyu.
Ajaran Abuya tu suci.
Pagi Hari Raya Aidilfitri, semua ahli keluarga telah berkumpul di rumah flat ini dan upacara ini melibatkan memukul mangsa.
Semua orang percaya kepada Datuk Pertama bahawa beliau adalah seorang mempunyai kuasa-kuasa ajaib. Walau mati pun dia boleh hidupkan balik.
Anda sudah menyaksikan saya di televisyen. Kini giliran jenama anda pula untuk mengelah. Di konten terhangat, media prima akan membawakan kandungan yang paling berpengaruh dan tawaran periklanan yang paling hangat untuk jenama anda menyelah. Jangan lengahkan masa lagi. Tempat adalah terhad. Daftar sekarang dan jumpa di sana.
On to the foreign front. The first day of resumed indirect talks between Israel and Hamas in Egypt has ended on a positive note, raising hopes for a possible deal to implement U.S. President Donald Trump's 20-point plan to end the war on Gaza. Sources told Al Jazeera Arabic that the meeting in Sharm el-Sheikh was positive, with a roadmap drawn for the next rounds of negotiations. Day one discussions focused on a prisoner exchange, a ceasefire, and humanitarian aid. The Hamas delegation warned that Israel's ongoing bombing of Gaza remains a major obstacle to talks on the release of captives. Among the representatives were senior Hamas leaders Khalil al-Hayya and Zahir Jabarin, both survivors of an Israeli assassination attempt in Doha last month. Negotiators will reconvene on Tuesday. Meanwhile, another 171 activists from the Global Sumud Flotilla, or GSF, including Swedish activist Greta Thunberg, arrived in Greece on Tuesday after being detained in Israel for taking part in an aid mission to Gaza. Arriving at Athens airport after being deported from Israel, Thunberg said countries were doing the bare minimum to end the genocide of Palestinians in Gaza.
Let me be very clear. There is a genocide going on in front of our very eyes. A live-streamed genocide on all of our phones. No one has the privilege to say we are not aware of what is happening. No one in the future will be able to say we did not know. Under international law, states have a legal obligation to act to prevent and to stop a genocide from happening.
Thunberg stressed that Israel violated international law by blocking the entry of humanitarian aid into Gaza, adding that their detention by the Zionist regime was a direct result of their government's actions. No decisive action, however, has yet to be taken against these atrocities. Meanwhile, French member of the European Parliament Rima Hassan and French MP François Picmal, who were part of the Global Sumud Aid Flotilla to Gaza, also condemned their treatment at the hands of the Zionist regime.
On a été pour certains battus. Moi j'ai été battue au moment de me mettre dans le fourgon par deux policiers et c'est le cas pour de nombreuses d'autres personnes qui peuvent témoigner plus tard.
Nous avons été arrêtés en violation du droit international et il est temps que tous les États, dont la France, prennent des sanctions vis-à-vis d'Israël. Certains ont été mis devant le drapeau israélien. Mon écharpe parlementaire ainsi que celle de ma collègue Marine Messmer a été jetée par des officiers de l'armée israélienne devant tout le monde, puis piétinée par des soldats.
Switching to sports now, the Football Association of Malaysia, FAM, has reiterated its decision to appeal FIFA's judgment on the status of 7 heritage players. The national football governing body also firmly rejected the conclusions presented in FIFA's ruling, calling it inaccurate and unfounded. FAM, in a media statement on Tuesday, stressed that no solid evidence had been presented to support claims that players obtained or were aware of fake documents. It blamed an administrative error, specifically a staff member who had mistakenly uploaded documents from an agent rather than official records issued by the National Registration Department. To rectify the situation, FAM is preparing a formal appeal using verified documents endorsed by the Malaysian government. The appeal is expected to be submitted in the coming days as FAM seeks to clear the names of the players involved and uphold the credibility of the national football program. The association also emphasized its commitment to defending the integrity of Malaysian football and ensuring that all decisions are based on factual and authentic documentation. On September 26th, FIFA's disciplinary committee fined FAM 1.9 million ringgit, while each of the 7 players were suspended for 12 months and fined 11,000 ringgit. Meanwhile, Hannah Yeoh said she viewed seriously the allegations in the grounds of judgment issued by FIFA on its action against FAM and 7 heritage players of the national squad. The Youth and Sports Minister said FIFA's statement in the 19-page document was serious and damaging to the country's image.
Grounds of judgment FIFA sangat serius apa yang telah mereka nyatakan dan 19 muka surat tersebut mempunyai banyak kenyataan-kenyataan yang saya fikir selepas proses rayuan ini perlu ada penambahbaikan. Statement 19 muka surat itu adalah kenyataan-kenyataan oleh FIFA yang sangat serius yang menjejaskan imej negara. Okay? Dan saya juga faham semua peminat bola sepak tanah air semestinya marah, rasa kecewa dan mahukan penambahbaikan.
Hannah also called on local football fans to continue supporting the Harimau Malaya squad, which will play 2 Group F matches in the 2027 Asian Cup qualifiers against Laos in Vientiane this Thursday and in Kuala Lumpur next Tuesday. FIFA on Tuesday released its grounds for the suspension of 7 foreign-born Malaysian footballers, exposing significant discrepancies in the documents submitted by FAM. In a letter addressed to FAM and the 7 naturalized players, FIFA said FAM had claimed that the grandparents of the 7 had been born in Malaysia, namely in Malacca, Pulau Pinang, Johor and Sarawak. FIFA's investigations, however, gathered copies of the original birth certificates of the grandparents that contradicted the claims. FIFA's committee also noted that Malaysia's National Registration Department never received the original birth certificates and had issued its own copies based on secondary information and foreign documents from Argentina, Brazil and Spain. The NRD further admitted that it could not retrieve the original handwritten records and therefore issued official copies based on evidence that a birth had occurred. The 7 players are Spain-born Gabriel Felipe Arocha, Facundo Tomas Garces, and John Irazabal Iraurgi, Netherlands-born Hector Alejandro Hevel Serrano, Argentina-born Rodrigo Julian Holgado, and Emmanuel Javier Machuca, and Brazil-born João Vitor Brandão Figueiredo. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a moment to reflect on the strength and suffering of the Palestinians who have endured an unrelenting war on their lives for more than 700 days as the world marks 2 years since October 7th. With that, I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for watching and stay safe.